Hey everyone, this is episode 11 of Unknown Room, and I'm joined by Geoff Neal, who has some new fight news to tell you guys. Jeff, what do you got for us?
Oh yeah, I'm fighting Niko Price July 27th somewhere in Canada. I don't know. I just I just know it's in Canada. It's somewhere up there.
All right. So,
UFC 240.
what are your initial thoughts about that fresh matchup at UFC 240 against Niko?
It's a great fight. That's a $50,000 fight right there. Like somebody's getting $50,000 no matter what. That's just how that fight's gonna go. It's good. It's a
Yeah,
good matchmaking.
I would agree with you, and the fans are already actually going crazy over it. Everyone's saying how it's going to be fireworks. Um, Before you got this fight, though, do you think there was a lot of fighters that were ducking you, perhaps, or do you think just the timing was off? Because a lot of people thought, being a Texas native, you would end up on that San Antonio card.
No, it's not a. I don't think anybody's ducking me. Like in the UFC, nobody's really ducking anybody. It's all about timing, like you said. Like I'm I pretty much came out of nowhere. I'm 3 fights deep in the UFC. I was ranked for a little bit. So all my fights, the fights that I don't know, I'm at the place where it's like slow playing it. I can't just get fights back to back because I'm at a different like level in the UFC now. So fights are going to come a little bit slower.
And another thing too about your fight career, I'm not even sure if you're aware of it or not, but so far in your entire Zuffa career, including Contender Series, everything like that, you've been in Vegas odds favorite in every single fight that you've had before.
I
You
know.
think you're going to continue that trend with this fight coming up here?
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be the favorite for this fight too. I'm almost certain, but that's no knock against Niko. Niko's still a tough opponent. Vegas odds is Vegas odds. I've seen plenty of people that were favorites and got their asses whooped, but he's a tough opponent. But I know I'm probably going to be the favorite going into the fight.
I think a lot of people would agree with that as well. And also, when it comes to that matchmaking, as a fighter in the UFC, what do you think it takes right now to get the fight that you want? Not necessarily with the opponent, but on the card maybe that you want to be on. What do you think it takes these days? Because a lot of times we see maybe fighters not get that fight that they wanted that would put them, maybe up at a next level or against someone ranked.
To be honest, you got to get the knockout. I'm pretty sure if I would have knocked Bilal Muhammad out, I would have had a fight within the next month or two. Like you got to do something that puts you on everybody's brain. Like if I would have did like a highlight reel knockout on Bilal, everybody been talking about me, and then UFC would have been like, hey, we got to match this guy up soon. He has buzz around him. So you just got to do something worth it, something worth like that makes people want to watch you fight again. And it wasn't a boring fight between me and Bilal, but it still was a decision. People don't like decisions. So
So it was that action-packed decision, though.
yeah, it was, and but it was buried all the way under in the fucking early prelims. Like nobody, I mean, people are watching. The real fans are gonna watch that, but the people that gets the money going, they're not watching that.
And with the fight that is confirmed against Niko in Canada, did they tell you a slot where that fight's going to be at on the card? Is it going to be on the main, or is that still yet to be determined?
I mean, I'm hoping it's on the main, but it is a pay-per-view card, and I still gotta pay my dues. So honestly, I don't care where I'm at on that card.
All right, so let's take it back. We did mention that you were a Texas native earlier. What was it like growing up in Texas when you were a kid?
To be honest, like I'm a Texas native, but I I didn't haven't I lived in Texas. I was born in Texas, moved to Germany, spent like a couple years back here in Texas at Fort Hood. Then I moved to Alabama, Missouri. But I'm a military brat, so I've moved everywhere. I haven't spent my whole life in Texas, but living in Texas, like I love Texas. There's no other place I'd rather be, to be honest.
So Texas is the place that feels
Tex-
like home.
oh yeah, Texas is a place that feels like home.
What was Germany like for you?
I was like 2 years old, don't remember.
Uh,
I heard it's good. Everybody's like, hey, you need to go back. I'm like, all right.
And as far as athletics go, what was your athletic background in your youth? What got you into MMA? Usually, we see a lot of fighters, mixed martial artists, usually make a transition from something else, and then they gradually find their way into MMA. But was there any? Were you like a standout athlete in any other sports coming up?
Yeah, I was pretty good at football. I played football my whole life, ever since I was in the third grade, and then came here to Texas. I think we pretty much moved from Missouri to Texas to give me a better chance to get into a D1 college.
Mm-hmm.
So we came here to Texas. I played football. I played defensive end, which kind of fucked me for a D1 scholarship, but I was all state defensive end 2 years in a row. We went to the state championship both years. I was pretty good at football. Then went to college, and I really didn't like the college I was at, and it kind of like sucked the drive out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just picked up MMA.
And that was just straight up from football. Like, do you feel like there's an advantage as far as being a former football player and now being in the octagon? Do you think it's the same kind of athleticism, or do you notice a difference?
There is a difference. You can't be when I first got in MMA, like, you know what I mean, football, you're super aggressive, like you give your all each play, you know, each down. MMA is like it's constant, so you can't really just like do super explosive movements the whole time because you gash yourself out. And that's kind of like the approach I took going into MMA, just 110% until I had no more. And it worked out for the most part until I started fighting dudes that when he get knocked out, then it became a problem.
And what type of stuff do you think you'd be doing if you never found MMA, if you never became a mixed martial artist?
Man, to be honest, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really, when I picked up MMA, that was the plan. Like there was no plan B, no plan C, nothing. Like I did MMA, like, and that was it. I really had no other, no vision for anything else.
I guess it's really good that that worked out for you then, and it
Yeah,
seems to
right.
be on your way to getting those ranked fights after this one, depending on how it goes. But let's
Yeah,
talk about Moxies a little bit, because everyone knows you still have the or give us an update. Are you still working there at Moxies?
yeah. Still working there.
All right. So I once read somewhere that if you didn't work there, you'd sit around and play video games. What are some of the games that you like? Like, what are some of your favorites, and do you still pick it up from time to
Oh
time?
man, dude, I'm so lame when it comes to the games. I'm really into RPGs, like you know what I mean, like games like Skyrim, Fallout. The same thing that I can just like turn like you know what I mean, turn my online status off and just like play by myself. And
Yeah.
I'm also into shooters like any Call of Duty. I used to be big on Halo. They kind of fell off a little bit. The Division, Destiny, stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you ever play Warframe? That's
I
kind of
haven't played
similar to
Warframe yet.
Destiny.
Some of my friends are really into it, but I haven't got into it yet.
That might be one that you like later. As far as the menu goes at Moxie's, is there anything that you recommend to somebody if they were to drop by and try to meet you or something like that?
The chicken Madeira rigatoni. That's probably like the best thing on the menu
Yeah.
at
Is
our
that
location. I don't know
is
how
that
the other locations work, but
is that something you can eat when you're in camp, or is that like can you
oh,
eat at Moxie's while you're in camp?
yeah, none of the food I can eat while I'm in camp. Probably a salad,
Does it
but
make
like yeah,
it
but you got to
difficult?
kind of cut to make your salad your own way to make it healthy.
And as far as like when people come in there, do you get a lot of fan interaction, or what's some stories about fans coming to meet you inside there?
Somewhat because some people because I had a fight here in Dallas at the American Airlines, so some people recognized me for that. They knew was fighting there, and they had it on the television at Moxie's when I fought. So some people recognized me from that. But it's nothing too crazy. I'll get a couple hardcore MMA fans that are really into MMA that recognize me, but I'm not that big of a name yet to where people just like, hey, that's Geoff Neal. One day, but not right now.
I think I read also too that it says once you get that first million saved up, you'll finally quit Moxies and maybe get a franchise of your own. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, that's still the plan for sure. The franchise part is still the plan, but the $1 million that was a little extreme. Like you can put you can put 200,000 in my bank account, and I'm gonna chill for a little bit. Yeah,
and,
the one
and I
million is kind
also
of extreme.
I think I read that you were working like 50 hours a week there. Is that still the case
Nah,
too, or did you pull
not
back?
anymore. Not anymore. That was a different time in my life. I was really behind on money. You know what I mean? Put myself in debt, but now I'm coasting right now.
So let's move into a little talk with Fortis because everyone knows that you're down there in Texas and you guys have a whole bunch of big names that train down there. They say it's like a tight knit family down there. Are you guys all hang out outside of training, or is it kind of just while you're in there?
I mean, we do try to hang out. I'm me, not necessarily, but a lot of the guys they hang out a lot. I work too much. You know what I mean? I really have 0 days off. Today is my only like day off, but I still had to wake up in the morning and go to the gym. So I usually use Wednesdays to go see my daughter or just recuperate my body for the rest of the week.
And
But yeah, we're tight.
what do you
What's
think
up?
the advantages is that you gain from training there with the head coach?
He is a leader 100%. Like, you know what I mean? He's not a like sometimes like, hey, maybe you should do this. It's no, hey, you're going to do this, and this is how it's going to be. I'm the lead. Like, you know what I mean? We have a head of the house. You know what I mean? Like, we don't. There's no confusion on who's running shit, and he keeps us in line, and we follow his lead.
And is it a gym where you guys usually just all practice with each other, or do you really bring in much outsiders? I feel like Fortis is ran pretty tight knit, where there's not a lot of outsiders coming in on the operation.
Yeah, outsiders do come in, but our coach is real selective on the type of people that we bring in. You know what I mean? Because you can't bring in certain type of people because it kind of like you can't bring in a cancer to your community. Like, you don't want to bring in certain people because they might throw off the vibe of the team and might not be a good fit. So you got to have a certain type of personality and a certain way about you to train with us. No knock to
And
anybody else that tried, but yeah.
one more question about Fortis, which is a personal question of mine. I don't know if you watch the NBA or if you're into basketball or not, but personally, my favorite basketball player of all time is Deron Williams.
Oh yeah.
And his association with Fortis. Have you ever met him? Have you ever trained with him? What's his
Yeah.
game like?
Hey, I've trained with him, man. He got hands. He's pretty
Yeah.
good. He
And what
he's still a rookie when it comes to it, but like when he hits you, it actually hurts. Like he has some power behind his punches.
and what's the ground game like? Because I know he has a background in wrestling from high school.
Me personally, I think I rolled with him one time back when he really first started, so I kind of gave him some work. But I haven't rolled him since then, but I'm pretty sure he's way better than what he was.
All right. So back to Niko. The win here, do you think it takes you to being ranked, or is that something you don't care about?
Honestly, I just want to get the win, and I don't care about it. But I do think it's going to get me ranked, especially if I put on a real good performance, which I plan to do. So yeah, that's the goal: get ranked, and then maybe I'll start getting some buzz behind me, and I can start talking shit to some of these fighters so they fight me.
And our last question, how do you think you match up with the people that are in the top 5, top 10 in the weight class right now, and maybe even against champion?
I think I match up pretty well. Like, honestly, I just feel like I bring something a little bit something different to the table. You know, I'm not yeah, I'm just something different. I'm aggressive. I'm strong. I got pretty good takedown defense. Technical when it comes to standing up. I could change up my game. Like, I feel like I can emulate any kind of style I want to, depending on who I'm fighting. So I match up really well with anybody.
Which is ironic because the person you're going to be fighting is the hybrid, and that's kind of what he, claims he does as well as being able to mimic all those different styles. So we're going to have two guys in there against each other that can basically morph to whatever they want to do. So fans are going to have
Yeah,
to expect fireworks when you guys fight.
yeah. You're not gonna know what to expect. I don't know what to expect right now. Like, I don't know how he's gonna approach the fight. I don't know how I'm gonna approach the fight, but we're just gonna find out.
And do you think I mean, it's not really that far away, but do you prefer to know your opponents much earlier when you're going to fight? Or is it just something where when you're training, you're just training all around? Or do you train specifically for a guy?
I would train specifically for a guy if they lean towards one thing. You know what I mean? If they're a wrestler, then I'm gonna train specifically like for takedown defense. If they have like a hook that they throw all the time, then I'm gonna like trained to watch out for the hook. It just depends on the person I'm fighting. If he's some dude that just goes with the flow with the fight, then that's how my training is going to be. I'm just going to go with the flow.
All right. So, yeah, everyone's going to be excited for this one. Is there any fan sponsors you'd like to thank before we get out of here?
Yeah, I want to thank Fit Meals Prep for always keeping me healthy. Fight Fit Cryo, Fight Fit Lifestyle, Extreme Studio Performance. I have a whole bunch. I wish I would have fucking written it down before we started this interview. My bad to anybody I forgot, but yeah, I didn't write that down.
All right. So all the non-written down sponsors, Geoff thanks you in advance. Everyone that he's listed, he thanks you as well.
I'll tag you in the video when I post it.
He'll tag all of you guys. And new potential sponsors as well. You guys can get it too.
Yeah.
All right. This has been episode 11 of The Unknown Room here with Geoff Neal. Geoff, thank you for speaking to me.
Hey, thank you, brother.
All right. Good luck on your fight against Niko at UFC Canada.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Shocked if this fight went the distance.
Unknown MMA. Everything you don't know about MMA.